live chat. Um, I think it's pretty wild, man. You can now go vertical lives in YouTube, so I'm sitting here checking it out. And wanted to introduce myself. Who is Black Sheep Basic? What is Black Sheep Basic about? Right now I'm in my truck traveling around, obviously with my eyes on the road, of course, being as safe as we can. But who really is, what is this channel about? This channel is going to be about preparation, being ready as you can, being prepared. That's our number one goal, is to always be prepared for the unknown. This is not about being paranoid. It's more about just being prepared for certain situations, helping you understand that from my perspective. What is my background, to really be able to talk to you about this. Really, my background really starts in law enforcement. When we talk about protection, self-defense, personal defense and whatnot, I learned a lot of my stuff through the police department. So the police department was really my introduction to how the world really works. What is going on out there on the streets in our community? What is it like being on patrol? And listen, that is something that's unbelievable, that you just don't understand what is going on the streets, and I don't blame you. Why would you understand that? Maybe you've never been a police officer, and that's cool. But I have been a police officer for many years, and you know, I will tell you, it's a dangerous place out there. And you just have to understand that. You got to understand what's going on out there, and I'm here to try to help you learn that and how to protect yourself. But it's my background came from law enforcement. I always wanted to be a cop as a kid. Became a cop. I lived in a bubble just like a lot of you live in bubbles. I lived in a bubble my entire life, and that bubble did not consist of much crime. You know, I had it pretty good growing up. I didn't live in certain areas and had to, you know, worry about food and everything. I know we've got that going on. I did not have to worry about that, but, you know, I always wanted to be a police officer, so I became a cop. When I became a cop, man, was I really slapped in the face with how reality really is for a lot of our community, really a lot of things that are going on out there. That was my introduction to the real world, and I was a police officer late in life, really, as opposed to a lot of these kids, and I call them kids because I'm old enough to be their dad, getting into law enforcement now. I was a little bit older, and I saw the world totally different, and I see the world different now. I'm not expecting you to see the world just like I do. We're all different. For goodness sakes, we're different. I have a cop background, and that's kind of the lens I see a lot of things through. Like right now, driving through this parking lot, just scanning the area, stuff like that. I mean, that is just something you learn in patrol, and honestly, I would not have been this way. I would not have been this way if I was never a police officer. I would not know what to tell you on how to protect yourself when I'm pulling up to a storefront like this, and stuff like that. So I learned a lot from being a police officer. Learned a lot of cool skills being a police officer. Got to work on a lot of different tactical units. Got to do a lot of cool things, man. Being a cop is one of the hardest jobs on planet Earth. Let's not kid around and think that being a cop is easy. Back when I was in, golly, it's been about 10 years since I've been in working the street, and it's gotten a little bit tougher. But how hard is the job? It's very hard. You don't know who you're interacting with. A lot of people want to blame police officers for some of the decisions they're making, which you don't know all the facts of those kind of things, which I will be critical of police when they do it wrong. There's a lot of times cops are in the wrong, and I can agree with you on a lot of those things. There's other times, as we're talking about police right now, there's other times when cops are doing the right thing. You just don't have all the correct information. You don't have the whole story. It's only what the media wants you to know. And you've got to kind of sit back and say, okay, what's the full story here? Because you're never going to hear from me that cops are doing things right all the time. If I have the factual information, I see the whole story and can tell you that cop was not justified in doing what he did. You know, much like the George Floyd situation, that was not justified, and that should have never happened. In fact, that was one of the first times that something like that happened in law enforcement since I've been in it and been around it, that everybody across the board in law enforcement agreed and actually came out and made a statement that shouldn't have happened. Okay, so that was wrong. We call out bad cops when we call them out. Now there's millions of good cops out there, and they're doing a hard job. I know how hard the job is. I know what it's like. If you've worn a badge, you know what it's like. So I'm just here to give you perspective on staying safe, being safe out there in public, man. It is hard for you to understand what dangers are out there unless, one, you've experienced it, two, you've worked around it, or three, you are that criminal. You don't know. I mean, you don't understand. A lot of times the information that I give in person meetings, I will give this information that I'm going to share on this YouTube channel, and people will look at me and ask me the question, does this really happen in our community? Yes, it does happen in your community. I don't care where you live. I'm pretty sick of the connotation that if you live in a certain area that crimes don't really commit or take place in your community. They do take place in your community, you just don't know it. You can go to a website called spotcrime.com right now. Type it in, spotcrime.com. Type in your home address wherever you live, and you will see certain activity that's going in around you right now today. What happened last week? What happened last month? Burglaries, break-ins, whatever it is, you'll learn that. So we're going to go over a lot of the police stuff, really personal defense. I'm a big believer in personal defense. You've got to become your own first responder. Why do I say that? Why did I post a short saying that when you call 911, they may not show up? Well, I'm telling you right now, I had that in a in-person class just last week. Just this week. That basically said, hey, you know, why are you pushing calling 911? Because I don't, and this lady said that calling 911 is something that I should not be pushing as a personal safety trainer, as a firearms instructor. I do real estate agent safety classes, and she's telling me you shouldn't be pushing calling 911. Why are you pushing this so hard to be part of the solution? Well, I'm a big believer in calling 911 because, by God, you're calling for help. If you were in a bad situation, you got to call 911. Now, what is the reality? Her reality is 911 doesn't always show up in her city. And a lot of people don't understand that. I have heard that for many years. I've heard that for decades. Have you ever heard the song 911's a Joke? That was done by Public Enemy or Flavor Flav, whoever it was, decades ago. Maybe it was the 80s. That was done a long time ago, and that was because when you do call 911 in certain big cities, you're either put on hold or they just don't show up. That's got to be corrected, but we're getting to the point now where that's happening in not just the big cities, it's coming to a city near you. It's coming to your community, and that's what was happening to this lady that told me, hey, we call 911, they just don't show up. That's a reality. If that is a reality, and I'm telling you that firsthand, I have heard these stories. If that's a reality, then we've got to be able to be prepared to protect ourselves and hang in there until the professional help gets there. I don't see a problem with that. You've got to know how to protect yourself. You've got to understand basic medical emergency information to take care of yourself, to take care of your family, your loved ones, or whomever it is you want to take care of. And also the public. If you're out in public and want to act, you need to have these skills. So absolutely get trained on that. And that's what I'm here to help you understand. So it's the personal defense. It's the reality of the situations that are out here. I've dealt with them in person. I'm around communities a lot, training personal safety. We're out talking to police leadership. I'm out here talking to a lot of different people, and I'm just bringing you my perspective of how life really is and how it's really working out here, and how to protect yourself. Because you just need to know that. Now, the medical side of things, I'm an EMT, and so I'm going to bring you that kind of information as well. And I will tell you, when we're talking about shortage, the shortage of EMTs, there's a shortage of EMTs in the world. In the United States of America, which we want to think is just, you know, cutting edge of everything, we're behind in we have a paramedic shortage. There are towns near me where I live that you call 911 and the medics just don't show up. And it's because there's a staffing issue. Much like the police situation we have, there's a police staffing issue. Nobody wants to be a cop anymore. There's a shortage of paramedics because retirements or the burnout or whatever we want to call it, there's just, it's out there. So it's not guaranteed in every situation that you're in that you're going to be you're going to have that medical assistance. So why the heck not learn the skills that you need to save a loved one, or save yourself, for goodness sakes. If you need to put on a tourniquet to save your own life, you need to know how to use a tourniquet. I don't know any other way to put it to you than that. If you call 911, we hope that they show up on time. We hope that they get to you and protect you and the police are there. But there is a chance in 2024 that the police or the medics may be behind and may not show up due to staffing issues. That's the reality that you and I live in. Why aren't you prepared? That's the question. Why aren't you prepared? So a lot of that's going to be coming your way from this channel. I'm a father of 3 as well. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I get the family side of things. That's another perspective that I'll bring. I'm a big disability advocate as well. We'll be talking a little bit about disability advocacy too, because it's an important thing, and just understanding the struggles that the disability community faces out here in our world. The world's just not the same for everybody. That might be a shock to you. It was a shock to me before my child was given to me by the grace of God. I'm glad to be her dad and my other 2 kids' father. But I didn't know the disability community existed the way it does. So you're going to hear a little bit about that too. And listen, if you are in the disability community, man, what kind of challenges do you have for personal protection? If you have a child with a disability and all the things that you have to deal with there's a lot of things you also have to be thinking about too. To be able to protect your child. To what do you do in an emergency? What do you do in an active shooter situation if you have a child in a wheelchair? So it's just a lot of things that'll be coming at you that way. Just wanted to put a face with the channel. I'm gonna be here just putting out this information. A lot of YouTube shorts because, man, it's quick, it's easy. Some long form video too. But hope you enjoy it. And we were just testing out the live, man. I didn't know you could go live in verticals until like 2 hours ago. So we just tried it. So hope you tune in and subscribe to the channel. You're going to learn a lot. You'll see a lot of things. We're not going to agree on everything, and that's okay. I'm always here for different opinions. I'm going to respect you. I just hope you respect my opinion. And subscribe to the channel. Ain't that what we're supposed to say on YouTube? I'm no big timer, man. I'm just an average person putting out the information that you need. You guys stay safe. I may do another live later just to test this stuff out in different situations, because I've really never done lives. You guys be safe out there. Watch your 6, for goodness sakes. Let me give you a quick tip. If you walk out of a building or out of your vehicle and you are on your cell phone, face down in your cell phone like this, you are doing it wrong. Have that head up, being looking around, and have good situational awareness. Okay, that's your tip for the day. Until next time, stay safe. I want to end streaming.